The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble! You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you just stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I was going to say you have the usual suspects in the building, but reality, technically, in this moment in time, I am alone on the feed. And that's all. Oh, lo and behold, look, a wild J has appeared. Ladies and gentlemen, he's our intrepid. Oh, no, sorry, no, he's not intrepid. No, this is our riddle inside of an enigma. Trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. Our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey.
Jay, listen, man. Jay, it's just me and you, man. I know I got a lot of energy, but I'm going to need you to pick it up a little bit. But just pretend like you want to be on the show with me right now. Please, just pretend. I'm not saying you have to. It doesn't have to be true. But you know, I'm not asking you to fool anybody. I'm just asking you to put in the effort so that somebody could be like, "Oh, he was trying."
Okay.
Thanks, Jay. Yeah, there it is. There he is. There, look, boy, you out here exuding so much friggin' riz right now. I'm like, ah.
You know what? I feel like I'm old enough to be uncomfortable with that word.
You're right. You're right. So, but listen, Fantastic Forum, as usual, is having some technical difficulties. Oz was here and then he was not. Mo's coming. So he's I think trying to coax his computer into streaming, and so you have Jay and I for the moment, but we still have a fantastic show for you today because we are going to be talking to you all about G.I. Joe #1. Hexzilla with the skibbity. I love it.
Interestingly enough, before Skibbity Toilet was a thing,
Mm-hmm.
there was an awesome song by Little Big called Skibbity, which, if you haven't heard it and you're into like techno house music, you should check it out.
There it is. Today's show, we're going to talk to you all about G.I. Joe #1, which is the latest addition to Skybound's Energon universe. We're finally getting to G.I. Joe. And then we're going to be talking to you all about Arcane, League of Legends. So the season 2 of Arcane, which is also going to be the final season, it seems. And,
is it?
Planned? Yeah, so planned, as the final season. Yeah.
At least they got to do their thing. Like, a lot of shows don't. They just get told that was their last season.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that as well. And, of course, whatever else news and topics you all want to talk about. And we'll tell you how it is. You can let us know in just a moment. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, the show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Hope all is well, good sir. In the building now, our intrepid senior reporter, next in line for the cowl, our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
What up, Oz? Sorry, guys. I think the dog was trying to get a possum.
And what, he pulled out the internet cord, or what's that?
No. I just had to stop him before I had to clean another, mess.
Got it. Another bloody bodied inside the new house. All right. He's like, oh, okay. He's like, I christened it. You're welcome. Crazy. So good. I'm glad you were able to stop that, Oz. Yeah. So if you want, well, actually, I should just go ahead and say, let's have the intern do what the intern does. Let's make it happen.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Indeed. So yeah, go to fantasticforum.live if you want to jump into the show, be the fourth member of the Fantastic Forum. You can do that right now. Now's the time. If you feeling a little shy and you're like, I don't know if I need my face up on here, you can always, technically you can just put a picture up if you want to talk, or you could jump into chat. We'll take your comments directly out of chat and bring them into the show, such as Hecht, who earlier said skivity. I also see Hecht had a comment earlier where he says, Larry wants Jay to fake it. Want you to fake it, Jay. It's true, Jay. So, Oz, how do you feel?
One.
You everyone knows this about Jay. He a real one. Oz, what is your relationship with the word Riz? How do you feel about Riz?
Nah, I think it's dumb.
There it is. But well, listen. We might be uncomfortable with it, but none of us are so old that we don't know what it is. So that's something.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's dumb.
If I say Riz to my mom is like, Riz
these
who?
days,
My mom is like, I don't know any Riz. So, ladies and gentlemen, he's the backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman. Moses Magnum's in the building. What up, Mo?
What's up?
Oh, geez,
What's
man.
up?
Oh, no. Moses.
What happened?
I think it bugs me because I keep thinking of RZA every time I hear it.
Oh,
What?
We're talking about the word Riz. How do you feel about the word Riz, Mo?
I mean, I prefer jizz, but yeah. Well, actually,
listen,
I prefer
that's what you were
jism.
telling me about you.
Yeah.
That
Like,
you
it's
prefer
funny to say,
jizz.
can we say rhythm? Like, yeah.
I don't think that's a thing, but I guess you could if you really wanted to. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the building is Hecht. What up, Hecht?
What's up, man?
Hecht, who is that?
Undertaker.
That's a mean Mark Calloway.
Yeah.
Heck,
Oh,
have you
You're
been
not
watching-
the Undertaker.
Dude, it doesn't look like Undertaker to me in that
Yeah, it
picture, but
does.
now that you say it, I see it. But it looks crazy.
Been watching what?
Trump supporter number one.
been watching Invincible Fight Girl?
I haven't, because I wanted to see Invincible first, but I've been lagging and all that shit so hard. I've been reading comics, but I haven't been watching much else.
That's
Oh,
okay.
okay. It is
As long as
about
you-
wrestling.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Cartoon Network one, right? The adult.
Yeah.
one. I
Mhm.
seen it pop up on my YouTube, and I'm like, I'll get to it later, and
I feel you might like it. Like, I haven't watched it yet either, but I know a wrestling connoisseur like yourself
yes.
might appreciate it.
Joe's giving it the soft recommendation, having not seen it.
The seal of approval.
Wow, no, this is where Joe's a genius. He's pre-producing next week's show already.
I thought
That way he don't have to text us nothing because we talked about it already.
All right, so
Yeah.
I got the comic portion for next week done. Now I got to see this.
Good. There it is.
What's
There it is.
the portion for next week?
Invincible.
Oh, it's a special.
No. Next week we're talking about
It's
Absolute
absolute.
DC.
Oh yeah.
You got to buy some absolute, then get into reading some absolute,
Right. So, but today, what'd you say, Oz?
Well, you guys hate me, I think.
Why do we hate you?
Because we're doing DC, like what you like to buy.
Because you're doing the shitty DC. It's like me making you guys do Ultimate Marvel. Well, I guess you like that crap.
Yeah, I love Ultimate Marvel. What are you talking about?
As I said it, I realized.
If they would have had Jonathan Hickman do the original Ultimate Marvel, it would have been different.
Yeah, but the OG Ultimate Marvel was good too.
No, I hated it.
You loved it.
I hate it. I loved it when it died, and then we got Miles Morales.
Miles Morales was around long before it died.
No, I know, but that's when I started liking Miles Morales. I just thought he was gay before that. So it's Fox. It's what Hannity told me. He was gay,
right?
Black and gay,
right? There it is, and Latino.
Yeah.
All the things we hate.
They don't hate Latinos anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
They like the ones that were for Trump. So
okay.
No, they don't.
You're like they really don't.
I don't know. I don't watch it.
Listen, Oz will let us know.
Yeah.
Make sure you give us a heads up when the turn comes out.
Oz is going to hand us over to the Gestapo.
Damn it.
Start calling Oz Jews.
They're going to find him in Argentina.
Yeah, I remember hearing all this 8 years ago too, and that didn't happen. So let's keep it moving.
He didn't have the judges then.
I know. Look, right.
He said, he's like, if I get the judges, my lawyer said, if I get the judges and I get the Congress and the House, we can do it. And now, now he has that.
They're definitely spitballing last time. This time they got at least a semblance of a plan. They got a what is it?
You ask him about the economy, he doesn't have a cunt of an idea, but you ask him about deportation, he's got a full plan.
So
that's not even half true, but okay. Can we move on now, or you want to keep sending on?
We can, Oz. We can.
He said he has an idea of a plan.
No, a concept. Concept of an idea.
Concept of an idea. That's what he said. Yeah.
Okay.
I got some cousins you'd get along well with, Oz.
There it is.
I doubt that.
Dang. Golly. Okay, well, hey.
I don't get along with my cousins. I'm not going to get along with someone else's cousins.
He barely gets along with his siblings.
How much?
It's because y'all like Trump. Yeah, that's all.
So
they're the good ones because they're Hispanic.
The good ones. The good ones.
Yeah.
No, the good one.
Yeah. The only good one is Marco Rubio.
Okay. So let's get on with it. Look, let's start with some comic book reviews. We're gonna talk about let's do G.I. Joe #1.
Did Jay? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, he didn't want to talk politics, so
I didn't either, and yet here we are.
Yeah,
coming right back to it.
Review. Review. Well, not like that, but like.
Jay did the smart thing and digested himself from the conversation.
Thank you for the Chiron, Jay. Appreciate you, buddy. Mm-hmm. When you're not here, there are none.
Nobody does that shit.
Yeah. There are none. Yeah. G.I. Joe #1. The latest addition to Skybound's Energon universe, which is their family of books that includes Void Rivals, Transformers, a number of G.I. Joe one-shots or miniseries, I guess I should say, not one-shots, but miniseries that have finally culminated into an ongoing G.I. Joe book. So here we are to talk about it. It's here. Joshua Williamson is doing the writing. Friend of Fantastic Forum, Joshua Williamson. Even though we haven't seen him in I don't know how long at this point, right?
He did tell us to stop playing that tape of his.
Did he?
No, he didn't.
Oh, I was like, that'd be funny if that was true. Where you're just like, hey,
he doesn't even know we're still playing.
Right? Look, Look, I'm like Joshua Williams is gonna be like, I don't know. I kind of remember talking to you all. No, but it's Tom Riley's doing the art, and then Jordi Belair is doing the colors, and Russ Wooten is the letterer. So we got all that going on with this book, gents. It's GI Joe time. How are y'all feeling about it? Jay? How are you feeling about GI Joe #1?
I was looking forward to it. Like I like it. Like seeing GI Joe interact with Transformers.
Mm-hmm. Like you like that in general?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So continue. What was your thought on this book in particular? Like, which and let me ask you this beforehand, because I know that we're all generally aware of the Energon universe, and I'm pretty sure we reviewed Duke and we reviewed Cobra Commander,
Right.
But like those were the first two GI Joe related miniseries that came out, and then they also did a Destro and a Scarlet miniseries. Did you keep reading Duke and or Cobra Commander, and did you mess with Destro or Scarlet at all?
I started reading them today.
Okay.
I kept up buying them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was current buying them. I just
but you hadn't read them all.
Time to read them yet.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So,
Trust me.
I've read Cobra Commander, Duke, and I'm like on the last issue of Destro.
Okay, cool.
I don't think
so.
Is the last issue even out yet?
Of Destro?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did it just
all of? Say again,
Did it just come out?
No, I think it came out like the beginning of last month. I think, like in that area. Like, well, I mean, maybe not. Like, what I'll say to you is this: is they kind of ramped it one into each other. So, like, Duke started first, and then Cobra Commander started not long after that, if I'm not mistaken. And then, like, as Duke was finishing, I think they started either Scarlet or Destro. I can't remember which one came first. And as Cobra Commander ended, they started.
Destro #5 came out October 16th.
Yeah. So they kind of all ramped into each other, and then GI Joe #1 came out not this week, right? It was last week.
No, it came out today.
Oh, was it this week? Oh, okay. There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like I know I didn't read it till today, but I didn't remember if it was last week or not. Like, okay, cool. So yeah. This is like, I mean, it was an interesting approach, because I know for myself, especially, like when they were talking, like, Void Rivals came out on its own. I remember reading that and just being like, okay, I'll just give this a try just to see what it's like, not realizing it was going to be like a backdoor kind of introduction to the Energon universe, which was awesome. And then from there, when they're like, okay, we're going to do these mini series with like Duke and Cobra Commander, I was like excited for Cobra Commander, but I'm like, I don't care about Duke. And then I read Duke and I'm like, I love Duke. Duke is awesome, and at least in Energon universe, he's super interesting. And the way that story like interplays with what's happening with Void Rivals and with Transformers, it's like, it was super cool to me. So I was just like, man, like this is like great. And I felt like it kind of, like I said, it was like ramping up, where it was like interesting approach to be like, let's do a mini series about these different characters. And you have like the titular characters, like Duke is definitely about Duke, Cobra Commander is definitely about Cobra Commander. But there's a lot of other characters that are involved in those miniseries. So it kind of like brings you along for the journey. So that was part of the reason why I was asking Jay if you had like read those or not. But tell us your thoughts on G.I. Joe #1, Jay. I'm sorry. Let me stop talking.
I like it, but
but
it feels a lot like a continuation of the miniseries. Like, if you haven't read the miniseries, I'm not sure if it grabs you.
I hear that.
Like it grabbed me.
Got you. No, I feel that. I definitely feel that.
Do you feel that you wouldn't have gotten into it if you hadn't read the miniseries?
Oh no, I would have.
Yeah, okay.
Like I'm.
Yeah, because that's what I want to hear, like your experience too. Because I know it can be a little different sometimes. I know just you being a G.I. Joe fan, like you could pretty much jump in any, like, you know, one of my Mo deals today is the G.I. Joe thing, and I think you might get into. But
oh, nice.
Later. Yeah.
Look at Mo with the Mo deal tease. Okay, we see you.
Well, I didn't get to read the comics, so I can contribute the Mo deal.
What, Moses?
Dude, dude, no, I'm sorry. It just shit got out. I got into a good groove editing, and I didn't want to stop.
Okay.
And, you know.
Hey, listen, I hear you, friend. I understand. Look, Mo got like 3 businesses, and a friggin' family, so it's okay. I get it.
And friends now too.
What?
Who let Mo have friends?
I'm bull.
That's what I didn't want.
I don't even know you anymore.
Yeah.
Look, who is Mo hanging out with people that aren't us? That sucks.
That's another story for another segment.
Damn it. Oz, did you get to read G.I. Joe #1?
No, I didn't know it came out today. I couldn't find it.
What? Oz, what are you talking about?
If I'd known it came out today, I wouldn't have gone to the comic book shop a few days ago.
Oh, Jesus. Shaking fists in contempt at Oz. It's okay. It's all right, Oz. Look, I'm going to make sure that our production...
Disappointed sigh.
Look, listen, I'm going to beam our production meeting directly into his cerebral cortex. Like, he's going to be mad. Like, he'll close his eyes, but he'll still be able to see us.
No, you're going to have to do a production meeting just for him. Unlike Monday morning at 4 a.m.
At 4 a.m.
His time.
That's fair. Okay. So that's fair. So, okay. So, now Jay, you didn't get to finish all of the miniseries, but you read Cobra, Commander, and Duke.
Yeah.
So, but you started Destro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So most of Destro. Got it. So, but you skipped Scarlet altogether, or didn't get the chance to read Scarlet. I shouldn't say Scarlet. But yeah,
Scarlet is next.
Got it. Now, Scarlet is interesting because Scarlet deals with some of the ninjas, which is
she should.
Right. No, I would agree. But it is interesting, like the composition, like the team that we get in this G.I. Joe #1, because I feel as though, like, if you ask somebody like who should be, like, if you're gonna have like a small band of like Joes to be like the core of a G.I. Joe team, like this isn't it. Like, to put it mildly. And like I'll let me just put the cover, like the cover, I'll put the cover into the thing so you all can see what I'm talking about here. I'm gonna share screen. Okay. So this is our group of Joes. Actually, can that might be too big, huh? Let's do it like how it was. But so it's a good group. And especially, again, like, I think this goes back to what Jay was saying, where it's like, if you were reading the miniseries, you kind of like you would understand why this is the initial group. But if you're just like, oh, they're making a new G.I. Joe comic, and you just pick up G.I. Joe #1, and you're like, oh, okay. Like I could imagine picking this up, not knowing anything about the other things that are happening with this comic, and being like, where are these people? Like, like in my mind, I'd be like, where's Flint? Where's Lady J? You know what I'm saying? Like where, there's like a
but to me, that is the beauty of G.I. Joe. It's like you can have a team with like you don't necessarily need your mainstays.
That's true.
And I appreciate a book that like can just give me like a good functional team. Like I don't need Roadblock to be in it. Like I would love it if Roadblock were in it, but I don't need him to be in it. It's like, yeah, like I'm here for your team. Like, tell me why this is your team. And I feel like they do that in the miniseries.
Right. Right. And see, and this is the thing where you're right. Like in the miniseries, you read Duke, you understand why this is the team. But if you didn't read Duke, you're kind of like, huh, this seems strange, But
I wouldn't I wouldn't say strange, but at the same time, I don't feel like we don't really get a lot in this issue.
That's true.
Which, if there is a crux to the issue, it is that you don't get much. It's half Cobra saying what move they're about to make, and half G.I. Joe saying what move they're about to make.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the third act, they start to make their move.
Listen, look, I laugh only because you're not wrong, Joe. Like that is exactly the book.
Wait, they started to make the move, but they didn't make the move, right?
They're in the process.
They make the move. They make the move, but
did they complete the move?
No, you don't complete. No, you're mid-move at the end of the book. You're mid-move.
Okay, that's the
no question on that.
They didn't complete the move, and that's the cliffhanger.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Kind of, sort of, But it's interesting because it's one of these things where I'm speaking from my own experience here, where all of these lead up miniseries, I can say I thoroughly enjoyed. Like the character, like, I'm not gonna. I don't want to. I want people to feel free to like read these books or whatever. So I don't want to like super spoil things, but like, for instance, like, Cobra Commander not only gives you, as a miniseries, not only gives you insight in who Cobra Commander is in the Energon universe, but it also gives you some insight on things that are happening inside of the Transformers comic as well. And so it's like, if you happen to be reading both, you're kind of like, oh, like, this is cool, because while this is a story in and of itself, and you don't need to be reading Transformers to read Cobra Commander, if you happen to be reading both, you're like, wow, like I questions that I had that while reading Transformers actually got answered for me in this Cobra Commander miniseries. And then also too, it's just like, like Duke gave you a different perspective also on some of the things that were happening in the Transformers book as well, but just from a whole different perspective, which was pretty cool too. So it's kind of like, and it's not to say that like the events of each book, like Void Rivals has like sets a particular foundation for things that kind of like almost get to be like a bit of a backdrop for some of the things that are happening throughout all of these books. But at the same time, it, like I said, it's in the background, so you don't need to read Void Rivals at all if you don't want to, which is kind of crazy. But it's just like, but if you do, you know, you get more insight into the entire, like, it's like a tapestry kind of. But it's interesting because what I can say is, while I felt like reading, because I'm reading all of these Energon universe books, and so while I can read Void Rivals and enjoy it, and then see how the Transformer story kind of fits into the backdrop of what Void Rivals is, and I can see how the Duke and Cobra Commander series kind of falls into the backdrop of what the Transformer story is. And then Destro and Scarlet kind of is the road to G.I. Joe. It's wild to get to G.I. Joe and that book actually kind of feel a little bit like, oh, like this book might be better served if you were reading everything else first. You know, because everything else has kind of felt like it can stand on its own and in the grand context of things. But G.I. Joe, the book, it's not that it can't stand on its own, I don't think, but it definitely loses something, I feel, by not having read, at the very least, the G.I. Joe stuff. And so,
I can see that, like, I know I didn't read this issue, but I can see that happening because, I mean, we've had almost a year of buildup, and even the way they released it, like they released it in a way that where you can read everything, like nothing, they overlap a little bit, but they don't interfere with each other until maybe right now, at least those G.I. Joe books. So you had enough time to like catch up. If you didn't, that's on you. And so I kind of respect, like, and appreciate how they chose to roll these things out. Like they gave it time. They didn't rush everything just because they have the property.
I agree.
That
I agree with. Like, I felt like it was like a very calculated rollout, and I definitely felt like they trusted their audience to kind of like come along for the journey. And like, I don't want to mistake the criticism I have for, like, as trying to, seem as if though the book is like not a quality book. It just feels different than the rest of them in its execution. And I think that that's the main thing. And, like in a number of different areas. And I'm interested, especially considering, like, G.I. Joe is obviously a flagship book, right? The other joints are miniseries. G.I. Joe is an ongoing book inside this universe. So, it's interesting that this is the point where it kind of feels like, okay, now we're at a place where there potentially could be a barrier to entry. So, Jay, how did you feel about the art?
The art was okay, not great, but fine. Yeah, I'm sure they're good artists who are doing other stuff, busy.
Wow, what? What? Well, listen, like, what I will say is, if I'm not mistaken, Tom Riley is the artist, which I hope I'm saying that right. I think it's Riley. Or it's either Riley or Reilly, but either way, but he did Duke too. But the art style is different here.
It's definitely better in Duke.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's weird because, like, I'm going to show you all a page. Like, this is like one of the initial pages. What are you going to say, Mom?
Well, because I was like, I can only judge from Duke 1. And I remember the art in Duke 1 being really good and functional for that story. Because it's like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
kind of like, it's just one person. And yeah, he deals with like, being in an office and dealing with the brass and stuff. But I think with something like G.I. Joe, which I haven't read, don't take my word for it. But if he's got to do a lot of moving parts on it, maybe that's not his strong suit. Yeah.
Well, one of the first things I'll say is, and I'm going to actually just make this bigger for a hot second, is it does like this kind of like a newsprint kind of like thing to it that
like a filter.
Looks like
yeah,
3D glasses for this.
Right, and that's what I was about to say next, Oz, is that something about the way that they do the colors in this particular, like in this moment here, it like I totally think it's going to be like 3D, and I'm like, that's weird. Like I don't understand what is happening there because
and if you're gonna do a page in 3D, like this is the shot to do it in too, so that really makes me suspicious.
Well, and look, but as far as I know, it's not 3D.
No,
so
there is like a newsprint filter, but then there's a aspect to that filter where you can adjust registration. So you might have tweaked that slider a little too much, where it's like it makes the image look like it was printed on newsprint, but then so the registration might be a little off to give it just that little warmth, like that little hiss you get from hearing on vinyl music on vinyl in paper when you're doing digital art. And he might have just tweaked the slider a little too much, the registration charger. Because I know I played with that when we do our backgrounds and stuff here, and it's like, yeah, if that slider goes too far, it doesn't look good at all. It just looks like a mess.
So like it was strange just because I was like, like what is going on with this here, and then like this is another one of the early pages, and it definitely has that same kind of feel to it, and like some of this is like there's like a part of it that's kind of like a little bit of a flashbacky kind of deal, but at the same time I'm just like, like the little dots I have no problem with. Like it's not the newsprint aspect, it's the weird kind of like color
outside the lines thing.
Yeah, outside the lines kind of like, and I'm just like, what is that all about? Like,
and
I don't
like, when you read a book like, Bedlam or was it like The Other Dead, and what's the other one that we did? Green Hill? Like Riley Rossmo's early art, like because he's one of the dudes that really played with that a lot. And he would be outside the lines, but he made it work somehow. Or the tone of the book felt like a help for that to be part of it. And that's kind of like what he's trying to do here. And it's just not working. It might be the colorist too, like because they're doing those. So but yeah, because this does like everything we've seen right now, or I've seen right now, reminds me of like Riley Rossmo's work, but an attempt to do like, hey AI, do this like Riley Rossmo. Yeah.
He's cribbing. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I don't say he's doing that, but maybe he's his own AI in his brain.
See, and then you get to this page, which is not far after, and this is different.
Yeah, high contrast. This is no dots.
This is different.
Can you put up a picture of the 3D one, or the one that's supposed to be 3D again?
I can put
that
back
like
up.
for it to be 3D.
No, because I looked up I looked up something and I found the same picture, I think, and it looks completely different from what you guys have.
Oh.
No, it's not different.
Okay. Okay.
It is, but it isn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Like maybe I don't know. Like,
and I love that style myself. Like, I actually have a piece of artwork that's done in that style. Like, it's really fucking with that style. But they actually printed it on a screen and fucked up the registration to get that effect. You know, like they put the one of the screens and then just moved it off to the side to get the effect. And so I like that style, but you know, sometimes it just doesn't work, or for certain things it might not work. You know.
Jay, does your copy look different?
No, that's how it looks.
Okay, I'm just making sure that I'm not tripping or something like that. Like because hey, like look, just like how there can be misprints in with with your individual copies, it's like, hey, I know technically it's far less likely with digital, but maybe the digital joint is
our
different.
Old Marvel trading cards. I know I had a couple of different colors.
Yeah, okay.
The same card. So,
and then another thing that I thought was wild was that there's a point where they introduce a new character, and this character is a character that is like an original, like a new G.I. Joe character created for this book. It's a character called Risk. And Risk as a character
name.
Yeah. Seems interesting and definitely like somebody like a character that I would like to know more about. But again, like basically what we've been talking about up until this point is interesting choices artistically. And so when you get to the portion where you get Risk introduced, the art switches to like this kind of like the like monochromatic kind of style where like the rest of the book, as you've seen, was, I mean, it maybe it's not full color, but it's mostly color. But like this is now again like this is like how they kind of do in the indie books, right?
Yeah, that's some like Deadly Class shit,
right? Which, hey, comics are expensive, so you feel like we can't afford to print all the colors. You make choices in how many colors that you have, and you make artistic choices, which is more than okay. And I'm not saying that like large scale comics shouldn't do that. But what I am saying is like when this happened in this transition, I was like, oh, so what's happening here? Is this like a flashback? Like, I'm trying to figure out like, why are we making this choice now? And it turned out like all it was just all that section was just for Risk. And they did kind of like, the two-tone color type deal thing. And then it didn't happen anymore in the book.
Was it a flashback though? Because the moment
it was not.
It wasn't.
No.
Because the moment you put it on the screen, I was like, "Oh, that's a flashback."
What? Right? Listen, and this is what I'm saying.
Well, even the style of the clothes look like outdated. It's like not only is it like color, but like design made it look like, because that's part of it too.
2024 collection, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because I was just like, like, so what is happening here? And so literally, like, and look, back me up here, Joe. Am I wrong? Is there any other part of the book that's like that other than the Risk part?
No.
Okay. So I'm just sitting here like, like, again, like, Skybound has been setting up this Energon universe for, well, I mean, I guess it's like it has a year, at least a year, right? Because we're at issue like 13 of Transformers, right? 13, 14
without like, because they were about to start after that one Comic-Con. I just saw the pictures because I was editing stuff.
Okay,
where you took the like slow like rotating picture in the thing.
Right. That wasn't last year, but the year before.
That wasn't this past Comic-Con. That was the
year before, right?
So it's got to be at least a year,
Yeah, so it's been about a little over a year. So it's like, it just seems interesting because it's like, okay, well, it would have been different if it was like, okay, we're not sure how this thing's going to work out, so let's, we're going to put out some books and see what happens. It's like, okay, no, like this is working. Like, you're putting out full color versions of Transformers every month. You're putting out, like full color versions of Void Rivals like every month.
And like the Transformers, like it's Daniel Warren Johnson. Yeah.
Right.
Like, and he's doing it all. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's not that, you don't have like the budget for it. And so I was like, okay, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is an artistic choice. But as a person that reads comics and has been following all of these books, like, I'm confused. Like, why are we making these choices? And I'm not saying they're even bad choices necessarily, because I don't look at it and like, I wasn't like, oh, I hate this. I was just like, is this supposed to, I was confused. I'm like, is this supposed to mean something? And I'm not sure what it's supposed to be indicating. And that kind of like, it just took me, it gave me pause. Maybe that's the right way to say it. It gave me pause because I wasn't like,
but it made you pay attention to it, right?
I mean, sure, I guess, but not like I was already paying attention. So it's like, let me put it like this. It did more to take me out of the story than to pull me into the story. And that's what it boils down to, where like I'm stopping the story that I was already invested in to try to like understand why my book looks different at this point. So, and I'm just like, which is fine if like, again, like, cause like you said, you saw it, you thought flashback. I thought the same thing because you get certain cues, right? But then when it's not a flashback, now I'm like, so what, and here's the part that makes it even more of a thing where it's like, it's introducing a new character that nobody knows. So it's kind of like, you would think that you would want, like, if you have a property that's 40 years old, right? Which that sounds crazy. But you got a property that's 40 years old with a large cast of characters that most of the people in that fan base will be able to recognize. If you're going to introduce a new character, you would think you would want it to be clear that you're introducing a new character. And I feel like, for me, I was like, I wasn't sure what was happening at first, but then like, I'm smart enough to put it together, but I was just like, I wonder why they decided to go this route, because this I felt like took away from the introduction of the character more so than added to it. But the character seems cool. Like, I'm like, I'm like, okay, like I want more, but I don't want it like that. not like this. So I don't know. And so, yeah, but from an artistic standpoint, I feel like the book hops around in like slightly different art styles, because, and again, like I was just like, let me show you another picture but it's all the same artist supposedly. So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know why it's working out like this. Like, this is like another picture here. This is like later in the book. And it's like, okay, like you still kind of get like a little bit of the dots here or whatever. That's Baroness for those that are like, is that Baroness? It's like, yeah. Baroness is a G.I. Joe in this she's
series. Starting off at one or build up to one if you read the series. Yeah.
Right. And that's Stalker and Rock and Roll.
She's the Winter Soldier.
She's the Winter Soldier. This was actually a pretty amazing exchange here too. Like I thought it was a good character moment because Stalker basically calls her a war criminal, and she says some stuff to him in what I'm assuming is like Russian.
It's Czech, but yeah.
Okay, so I'm sort of right, and then he answers back because Stalker knows a whole bunch of languages, and she was like, "How dare you!" And I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, "Man, I want to know what that says."
Use your phone.
Oh, you didn't do the
No, I didn't.
Oh man.
What the Larry? You're not experiencing comics, right? Larry, Jay, did you do that? Did you? Because I know you did it with the Behind the Trees one.
Yeah, but that was written in Romanji.
And what?
Or it was written with like in English letters.
Okay, so it's like
I
phonetic.
could translate it.
Yeah,
it was
okay.
phonetic. So
this one, this one's a little harder.
This one's not. That's in the
you
actual alphabet.
Yeah, you have to use your augmented reality feature on your phone.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, we did that in the
picture of it with
Netherlands,
Google
like,
or something. And
like Larry acts like he never left the country. Like,
you know what, man? Listen, that I hear a lot of talk from people that didn't read the book. You know, it's
we gotta say something.
How about you read the book next time and you translate it on Holy Beelzebub?
I would have had it translated if I would have read it.
Yeah, it sounds like you didn't read it either.
Yeah,
I didn't read the check part.
You probably missed the best part. Like your review is like a 3, and it could have been like a 4.5.
Oh man, listen.
Like he made Baroness blush. Like I need to know what he said.
I want to know too.
So, low key, like the 2 people that read it are the ones that really care about Baroness blushing. We're the pervy G.I. Joe fans, and we didn't read the book.
Yeah, man. But yeah, but as you can see, like that's like a different, like it feels like a different style or whatnot. There's I'll show you one more picture where I was just like, like, because it was like this straight right here. I'm like, that feels a little bit different too.
Yeah, and that shit's fucking like, tight.
It is.
I love it.
This, like, what I love about this is, and you know, this is the thing. Like Jay,
if I was a big G.I. Joe fan like Jay, like I would get that tattoo.
But
there it is.
It actually comes before like a really cool moment in the book between Destro and Cobra Commander, where he's like showing him like this gun, and Cobra Commander's like, dude, you make guns all the time. Like, why do I care about this?
Right.
And he's like, just try it out. And then he grabs a gun and points it at Destro. And Destro just looks at him like, I'm not entertained. It's like it's a cool ass moment,
and that's the shit too. That's like some Apocalypse Now shit, like like, and that's what. And this is kind of what I want from like what Skybound has been doing with the Energizing universe. Like they do, it's like it's not like us as kids playing with the toys. It's us as grown-ups playing with the toys.
Right, right.
And that's like what you guys described to me. Like, Jay, man, I give your review of it 5 out of 5. And like, I'll just buy it. Like, you know, even with the questionable art, because I won't call it shitty. Like, they make creative choices. It looked good. And it expressed the story. I'm sure it moves it the way it's supposed to, but it's just off-putting.
At the end, like there's a panel at the end that's like amazing.
Yeah,
which I won't say what it is, but I'm sure Lawrence knows.
Can you tell me? Like,
no,
I want to know
after the show.
I want to give it a 5 out of 5.
You got to text Jay. Listen.
Emily told me to stop doing that.
To stop texting Jay. So listen, Jay said earlier that he likes Transformers and G.I. Joe crossing over.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I am not a fan. Like I don't like they're like I mean every time like since the like Marvel days I haven't been a fan of that joint happening. And
I love that they had Spider-Man in it. Skybound's not gonna have Spider-Man in it.
Even worse. Like I don't look. I was like Spider-Man don't have no business in a Transformers comic as far as I'm concerned. Does. Nope. Yeah. And so it's like and that's the thing. But you nailed it right there, Mo. Where you're like, it's like playing with our toys.
Yeah.
But this feels like it's not playing with our toys as kids. It's playing with our toys as adults. And I think that is the big difference, because I feel like every G.I. Joe Transformers crossover before now felt like children playing with their toys and just banging them together. And it's like, okay, yeah, like I'm not saying it's not fun. What I'm saying is don't, like I want something a little bit more sophisticated, not a lot more sophisticated, a little bit more sophisticated. And Skybound has given me something a little bit more sophisticated.
Just that page that you showed me, like I almost got angry at you, and I was like gonna do a "fuck you, Larry" moment, because it's like you went long-winded about all these other parts and didn't show me that page.
I showed you the page.
No,
you saw it because I showed it to you.
It just took too long to show me that page.
You showed me that
page. If you show me that page, I'm like, I'm gonna buy this fucking comic right there, because that's. And then Jay explained what happens next, and I'm like, that's exactly what I like. This is what the other crossovers were missing. It's the physics of Transformers and G.I. Joe, the nuance of G.I. Joe, the spirit of like, yeah, we're a paramilitary militia, intercontinental terrorist organization, and we're gonna weaponize fucking Energon. Like, I didn't have to read the book to know that that's a fucking Energon gun.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying, and that's the whole thing
tattooed across my fucking back.
and that's the whole thing. Like the idea, like you gave a good story reason for Transformers and for G.I. Joe characters to be interacting with each other. Like G.I. Joe is formed on the idea that it's trying to friggin' make sure that people are safe from giant alien robots.
Yeah.
And Cobra is going to be in G.I. Joe's way. And eventually that's like they're going to be focused on Cobra.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it's like, dude, and not only that, but then it also gives like Cybertronian technology gives all the excuses.
The Decepticons are a Chinese hoax.
are a good reason for both of these like organizations to have this advanced technology. And it's just like it's so like comes together so good. And I'm just like, man, like I can't wait. Like I can't wait to see when a full G.I. Joe force or a full Cobra force actually gets to like engage with Transformers. You know what I'm saying? Like with Cybertronians, because like it's gonna be an interesting thing to see, especially considering that, up until this point, whenever Cybertronians meet up with humans, they're just like they just splat them. They're like, whatever, like you can't hurt us. But now that they have Energon guns that happen to be the GI, like the lasers that we know from G.I. Joe and that we know from Cobra, like that's gonna be awesome.
This is a spot.
You can get that gun right there.
I'm gonna get an Energon gun right here on my left hand.
And then when you see people, you can go pew pew pew.
Well, I got my blade on this one, so I can't do. I can't put it on the right hand, so I'm gonna be left-handed. South. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Like Jonah Hex.
Like Jonah Hex. Let's rate this book, Jay. What would you rate G.I. Joe #1?
I would give it a 4 out of 5. Like, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, the art could be a little better, but I think overall it was a really good read. And yes, that is as someone that's read the miniseries, so I kind of already had a foothold into going into the story.
Got it. Okay, cool. As for myself, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 as well. Like it made some interesting artistic choices that I felt weren't necessarily in line with all the other books that we've been seeing up until this point. But outside of that, the story was solid and I enjoyed it, and it definitely set the stage for like some exciting things down the way. So I'm looking forward to reading more G.I. Joe, and like I'm anticipating an actual G.I. Joe Transformers crossover, which is something I never would have done before Energon Universe.
All we're missing is Spider-Man.
Moses, no Spider-Man.
Dude, I want to see that shit in the movie.
Listen, you don't.
Well, Michael Bay, like,
oh, see, look, okay.
Like I'm down to have it to be shitty, but I just want to, before I die, I want to see it like in live action. And we kind of got that with like Ready Player One a little bit. So.
Yeah, that's true. Like Ready Player One didn't do that stuff poorly.
Yeah, no, and I mean it's all cameos, so you got to be on the lookout. But it's still, now I got to read the book because apparently that does it better.
Right.
But I don't want to.
There it is.
Yeah. Where'd Jay go?
All right.
I was gonna praise him.
Listen, Jay.
Because I was gonna give the book myself, like just from what I heard you guys say, like it's a buy. Like I'm gonna buy every variant cover, because especially the cover you guys showed wasn't that great. So I do want like a J. Scott Campbell cover.
I like that cover.
No,
and you know what I like about it too is that it's a wraparound cover, and like the back part is Cobra.
I want an Alex Ross cover.
I would take an Alex Ross cover.
I'll take a white cover. Yeah.
Well, yeah, sure, of course. Yeah. Then you can get whoever you want. But
no, it's Schrodinger's cover. Like anybody could have it. Like anybody could draw on it.
Any artist could be on this cover.
Yeah, I could just imagine what it could be every time I look at it.
It's gonna be a giant energon gun.
Dude, I might draw that myself.
There it is. There it is. He's ready.
Yeah. But yeah, no, definitely. Like just based on you guys' reviews, like instead of reviewing you guys' reviews, I want to review the book. And it's like a 4, just that page with the energon gun, like that's 4.5.
It has some great some great moments. Like not only
because my brother Doug, like he's a G.I. Joe guy. Like Oscar's a Transformers dude. Doug was the G.I. Joe dude, and like I think he still beats off the Scarlet. Yeah. But so I do want to I want to get his, because I remember giving him Cobra Commander to read.
You're right.
He was like, what the fuck? Because he did like Transformers too, but like seeing them like weave into each other.
Right.
So I was like, I want to buy him a copy so that he can read it, because I think he's gonna get a real kick out of this.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff, man. Like they're doing great work over there. So, we will see how it all goes.
I translated the page. It's not that interesting.
Oh, well, what does it say?
Hold on, let me go back because I gotta. She says, see, she says something like it's a rough translation. I'm not an expert. She tells him, "Shut up, you stupid old pig, or I will cut your neck at your neck." And then his big ass reply, I'm sure it loses something in the translation.
Yeah,
it's in it. Something like, "Try, and I will not only kick your ass, I will pull you back to your mother and father and show them how their little princess turned into an empty life. They brought you into this world, so maybe they will do everyone a favor and take you away."
It's pro-abortion, but you can't say pro-abortion. Otherwise, they'll burn the book in Alabama.
Oh, yeah. That's fair. Okay, listen, thank you, Oz. I appreciate that.
Somebody's got to do it.
I do have I don't have access to like play the stuff, so that's why. Also, I was hoping Jay stuck around because I do need to cap off our review of G.I. Joe. There is a G.I. Joe mode deal. So.
Oh, you have a video?
No. I'm gonna do it live, but
you need a mode deal music.
Yeah, I just need somebody to play it because I don't have access right now.
Oh yeah, no, I
I'm
can
not
do
signed
that.
into our admin.
Yeah, like it's in the but you need the video clip. I'm sorry. Yeah, we got you.
Exactly. Like if I would have just told Joe to do it, he would have done it. We wouldn't have.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
More money, more money, more money, more money.
So yeah, man. For those of you who like tabletop RPGs, you want to play out that cool comic book story we just talked, you can do it. What the fuck? Ah, shit. Hold on. Sorry. I didn't produce it enough.
It's okay. No. Shout out to Scott Rubin.
Yeah, fucking StreamYard's acting like I'm new, trying to give me a tutorial, but here it is. So Humble Bundle right now has a it's a book bundle, but it's the tabletop role playing game. So you'll get with $40, like that's the highest price. I mean, you can do more up to 50.
You need me to add that in?
I should be sharing it. I'm not sharing it. What the fuck?
No.
Yeah, I can't add it in. Like I said, I don't have admin. Like, yeah.
There you go.
There we go. So so you get
good shit.
Yeah, you get a fucking role playing game Cobra dice set. You know, that's a limited physical item, so you gotta, and they're only shipping it to like Canada, US, Australia, New Zealand. Shipping is not included, so you might have to pay extra. And then you get another a dice bag that's a Cobra branded one.
Hell yeah.
Expanded character journal plus all the games. You get the role playing game Standy Pack 1, a limited Sergeant Slaughter accessory pack.
That's
the role playing game,
a comic book and a wrestling.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Over.
And then you get the Sergeant Slaughter pack sourcebook PDF. So you get a digital version of the books to play the game as well as the physical copies. This is the first physical Humble Bundle deal I've ever done because part of my draw was always they were. And then look, this one has Transformers and Power Rangers in it too, like one of the add-ons to the tabletop role-playing game. You know, like the different expansion packs and shit. So with $40, you get all these like 14 items. And it's a cause near and dear to my heart because I'm a dude and I have a prostate and I also have mental issues. So the Movember Foundation is the beneficiary of your purchase here, and they're they help dudes with prostate, colorectal cancer. What is it like? Raises funds to deliver innovative breakthrough research and support the programs that enable men to live happier, healthier, and longer lives. In addition to tracking key health issues faced by men in their life, with a focus on staying socially connected and becoming more open about discussing health. But they do colorectal cancer, depression, prostate cancer, like that. That's the shit they really work with. It's all the shit that men never want to talk to anybody about.
Right.
But they'll help you.
And you don't even have to grow a beard.
Nah, man.
No nut November.
Yeah, fuck that no nut. Like you need to do about look. All right, I don't want to taint this taint. I don't want to taint this but that's the Mo deal. I'll leave it at that. I'll tell you after. That's the Mo deal. That way I can cut it up.
Sounds good.
Yeah. That no November shit. Fuck that. Like you want a prostate health, you got to nut 27 times a month at least for proper prostate health. All right. I just had my doctor this morning had his his finger up there, and he said my prostate's like a 17-year-old boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's he know?
I don't know. He touched a 17-year-old boy. I'm 40, so I'm happy. I'll take the compliment. I ain't gonna ask the question. He might get deported in a month, but it's okay. Doc, I'm surprised with the DACA thing. He's still practicing.
You guys ready to do some TV reviews?
Yes.
Also,
no, more about gel coat.
When the fourth round will...
Don't you call it?
Does it look good already? Jumbo Scampi for limited.
All right. Arcane, League of Legends. This past Saturday, I believe, Season 2, Part 1 came out. So the first 3 episodes of Season 2 of Arcane. Yeah, it's been a long time coming because that joint, I know it was during the pandemic that it came out.
Like right after. Like,
was it right out? I thought it was like 2021 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, you call that the pandemic. I don't. I was denied services and forced to earn money at 2021.
I still had to work.
Yeah,
I was essential.
Ooh, yeah.
And then get paid more.
But it's been a few years since
November
the last
2021.
Yeah, okay, so there it is. So yeah, so a legit
not
3 years.
November 2021.
You can't tell
3
me
years.
it's not November. Put freaking Jinx and 6 on the screen.
Man, so but yeah, so it's the first part of the new season, which they're saying I think is the last season. And yeah, so tell me, like, what did you all think? Mo, you get a chance to check this out?
Yeah, I know you in pre-production because we're a high efficient machine. He said, "Hey, if you can get a YouTube like to bring you up to speed for season 2, you can do that, and then watch a couple episodes." And I actually ended up watching because I had already watched about 3 or 4 episodes. That's what I thought I had watched. It turned out it was 2, and then so I watched 7 episodes or up to episode 7. I didn't realize there was 9.
Yeah,
so I did miss the 2 final episodes that I didn't go back and watch. So and then I jumped to season 2, like, and I was able to watch 1 episode. That just 1 episode like felt like a movie, like with everything, with the bit that I had watched, and it jumped a little more, but I knew enough of everybody at this point to like enjoy that first episode. And that first episode was like that shit was fucking good. Like I get so I get mad because it makes me want to play the game.
Right.
But again, like this is all prequel to the game too, right? So
Also,
it's like
it's nothing like this.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like it's like I love it just this first episode really cemented what I love about League of Legends, aside from wanting to give up some time to play it, is that like the genre is like it's kind of sci-fi, kind of steampunk, kind of magey, like you can kind of like you have everything you like from and I can see why like games like your Magic the Gathering and had to evolve a little to kind of create some of that dynamic into the games. Now I want whatever studio did it, I want them to do like an Overwatch thing now, because like I know there's like I think there's a manga or a comic that gives you like kind of what the how Arcane does for League of Legends, but I'm like no, I want to see it on the screen like this. Because it's like you see all these characters and they look good. I don't have the time to play them, so I'll just like read a wiki or whatever about them and get some of the lure. And that I really feel like with League of Legends, and like it's a game that I never really got to play. Odd enough, I didn't have time to play it, but I had time to watch people play it. So
right. Well, look, you can multitask when you're watching other people play it, at least, right? But I feel you.
And then watching this combined with what I've seen, and then I was like, I'm so fucking pissed now because I can't buy the Ruined King in a physical copy. Like you have to buy it digitally, which means you pay full price. So it's
really?
Yeah, unless there's a sale or something. But it's like you gotta you're not gonna get it. Like if it ain't physical, you're not gonna find it on eBay. So because like now I really want to play the Ruined King, like because that's it's not multiplayer. I'm not beholden to other people's free time. I can buy it and not have any free time and say, I'll play it eventually, but I want to have it and have that option.
Right.
I might buy it on Steam. I don't know. Maybe there's another mode deal here.
Look, it's interesting because, what you said was, it was like a movie. And it's interesting because the showrunner basically like used that same kind of argument recently because like the joint, like the series is super expensive.
Yeah.
Like they were talking about something about like how the breakdown, like I think they were saying like the show altogether is like 250 million between like the 2 seasons and but they're saying like if you break it down, they're like, you know, with between marketing and promotion and then, you know, like season 1, season 2, it's like we're making mini movies and it's like at that, if you think of it
There's
like
no
that
return.
way,
Yeah.
it's like you're actually coming in like way under budget for something of that quality. And I don't think they're wrong. Like,
no,
dude, like the
not.
joint is phenomenal. Like it is crazy to watch how artistic
there is a show
this joint is.
There's a show on Netflix called Dead to Me. It's kind of a sitcom, kind of a dark comedy.
Okay.
Great fucking show. It doesn't cost this much to do, and it has live actors in it, you know, and it's like this is like true craftsmanship. Like, you know, like just the little recap, the way they chose to do the recap or opening scene, where it was like the art style on top of like a charcoal painting or a charcoal drawing of it.
Yeah,
it's like just somebody to edit that together will cost you money. Trust me, I'm working on the editing project that's costing a lot of money. It's taking a lot of time, so I can see why like it's costing money, and it's insane. Like I'm happy they did it because I was happy just looking at that like that little recap thing, like a little montage, you know.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's that expensive because they
don't enslave Korean people anymore like the Simpsons did.
Because their new theme is a Linkin Park song, and they did a video in that style.
Well, that's part of why it costs like a lot because that's licensing. The Imagine Dragons did the first one, and then they did that girl. I keep forgetting her name. I feel like an old fuck every time because she just sounds like she's whispering like this. Like, yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I mean, you like her. Like, Larry, you like her. You know you.
I might, but I don't know if you're doing a good impression.
Like, yeah, I know. I'm not as talented as she is, and I'm not worth the $250 a second her song royalties are worth. But they put music in it too. Like just the theme song alone is going to cost them money. You know, it's weird because the new one is Linkin Park, the older one's Imagine Dragons. I couldn't tell the fucking difference in the second one. Like I thought it was the same fucking song.
It's not the opening song. They don't. They used it for the championship games, but they do put at the end of the first episode. There's a little bit of it. Like just because I heard
in the montage thing a little bit,
I recognized it just because I've heard it so many times.
Okay, all right, because
the music video for that song is in that style with the band and the guys that went into the championship.
If they want to do season 3, I'll give you a better band to use, and it'll cost you half as much. Well, no, it might cost you as much because I'll take my cut.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting because I do feel like, I mean, and I'm pretty sure they said this in season 1, where it's like, you know, part of, you know, the like League of Legends and the art style that, you know, the people that, you know, the art from the, like, the concept stuff from the game, like, has a particular look, and they wanted to make sure they tried to, like, match that look in this series, which, you know, they do it phenomenally and it's crazy. But it's wild how this joint just like, again, just from the artistic perspective, how it just bust out into basically like an animated music video and then go into the story. And it like, you know, it's unfortunate that like, I did, you know, want to get like Jay's take on that just because it's like, I don't feel like this.
I'll give you my take.
I know, of course, I'm definitely gonna get your take, Oz. I know you're here, but you know, it's like one of those things. Like, well, I guess all of you kind of like.
And look, Jay left. There's no Chiron.
Right. Listen, he might have made it. I don't know. We can look, but the fact is, Oh, there it is. Boom. Good job, Jay. No.
Okay, we don't need them then.
But the fact is, you all have expressed your thoughts on musicals, and this is not, at least from my perspective, I wouldn't call it a musical, but at the same time, like there are sequences that are basically like music videos in the middle or in the beginning of what is a narrative story. And so I would love to get y'all take, like, how do you all feel about that, and how it works for the narrative? What do you think, Oz? Did you really?
Yeah, it was annoying. Like, visually, it's beautiful. I love
Right.
watching it. I love what was going on the screen. I just didn't like that it was like a music video.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, okay, let's get to the story. Come on, it's lovely. I love the way it looks. Now talk to me. Tell me what's happening.
That's interesting.
How
do you feel about it, Mo?
For me, I didn't mind it. Like, it's not like I enjoyed it. Like, it's not music I particularly like, but I'm sucked into the story, so I'm here for the journey. And that's just how they're gonna give it to me. I'm gonna take it, And so I didn't mind it like Oz did, but because I know there's been moments where it takes me out, and one of the shows that never did that was like Breaking Bad, and then they did it in the finale. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, because that's some shit. Like, even like another show that didn't do it too much. Like they used it sparingly, but they did do it. And was House. When I was like, that's kind of, that's kind of what I liked about House. That they didn't buy into these tropes of like just factory made TV shows,
Right,
and
right.
like the when you get into procedurals, like they're all pretty much the same. Like
100%.
It's on an autistic person that solves things, or OCD person that solves things, or he's just a tracker. And I
hey, don't you talk bad about Tracker, guy.
Hey, no, I love Tracker. I told Emily, I'm like, she watched 10 episodes without me. Can you believe that shit? And she's like, I didn't know you watched it. I'm like, dude, that was the real Aquaman. Like, I'll support everything. Like,
real Aquaman.
Like, I bought that.
Real Aquaman is Reacher.
Right, but no, but he didn't have a show. The show was like the
Reacher's
pilot.
Too big to be Aquaman.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they got the Green Arrow to be Batman, the original Green Arrow, because he was like he was also the first Green Arrow, but became Aquaman.
He was a good Green Arrow.
Yeah, and a great Aquaman too.
I don't know. He only had the one episode.
Dude, that episode was tight. It was better than the fucking movie.
I gotta watch it. I'll watch it again.
Look, if you add lasers, sharks with lasers on their heads, to the episode, you'll probably enjoy it. But he's better than Momoa. And like, I paid cash money for that episode. Like, I own it. They can't take it from me. Apple has it in every device I own from Apple. It populates it in it because I bought cash money. But that again, these shows do these montages at the end, and it's like that becomes generic TV, and I hate that. Breaking Bad broke that. Sopranos did it, but they did it in like more like a dream sequence thing, and it was better music, at least for my taste. So it wasn't whatever CD that is like. I was left. He's like, man, he's like that Aquaman. Yeah, but and that, so like these montages, like to me when I saw it, I was like, okay, they're doing that, but it didn't feel out of place. Like, especially because I watched so many videos where like it's either people narrating what their gaming experience is, or they just put music under their gaming experience. So for me, it's just added to the experience of how I experience League of Legends.
Yeah. Right. No, man, it's definitely like, I mean, the show in and of itself is like, it is just like, man, like the characterization and the action is just like some top tier stuff, man. I'm just like, and I know that you only got to see like the one episode, right?
Yeah.
But man, like
I feel like that's enough. Like I could like get hit by a bus tomorrow and be satisfied with Arcane.
Yeah, man. And it's crazy because I know for myself, again, it's been a long time. It's been 3 years, and I don't have a great memory, so I didn't remember how the last season ended. So I actually went back to go watch the last episode just to be like, I remember the general narrative, but I didn't remember like what had happened at the end. And so I'm like, oh, let me go watch the last episode. And I watched the last episode, and I was like, oh man, I was like, geez, like, and the crazy part is, I remember after seeing it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember being mad. Like, damn it, when can I get the next episode? And obviously the memory faded. And so I didn't even, like, I was excited for it. But then when I saw that episode, I was like, oh, schmack. I was like, yeah, they sure did. Like, yeah, that like, I don't want to say what happened because you might actually want to go back and watch it. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, you watched the first episode, so you have some semblance, but it was still interesting to watch.
No, definitely, like, especially because I didn't get to watch the last 2 episodes.
Yeah,
I can see like there's like it feels like a time jump for me, but it's not. Like it feels like, oh, okay, this literally like took place like right after, which is what I usually complain about shows doing is the opposite of this. So I'm like, yeah. And then Emily watched bits and pieces of this first as I was watching it, and she's like, I can see she's getting into it. I'm like, hey, if you want to watch the first season again, just take a day off, and I'm down. Like, I'm down, like, because I watched it at work, so I couldn't pay as much attention as I would have liked to it, or the lighting at work doesn't, for a theatrical experience, isn't like what how I like to watch things. So I'm down to like do nothing for 2 days and watch it all.
What I can tell you, man, is like League of Legends, like Arcane as a show is dense. Like there's like a lot of little nuances in everything, and that's kind of like, it's part of the reason why I can't even really be mad at the fact that it took so long, because it's like, it definitely feels like when you, like, I know watching these 3 episodes, I was just like, it felt like they needed every second to make this joint as good as it is.
And
like,
that's when you're thinking. That's when you're thinking of story. Like, for me, it's more like the technical aspect. I'm looking at the like it's like I want, like, if it's gonna take them to do that, and it's gonna be this quality every time, like, I'll wait 10 years for 5 seasons. Like I like some of my favorite TV shows, like Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think they've been around 25 years. They only have like 16 seasons.
Is that true?
Yeah, they only do it whenever they feel like it. Like, yeah, and then like
that's crazy.
The last season was only like 8 episodes. They're like, yeah, we're just doing 8 because we all have other jobs too. So, and then like the season before that left it on a cliffhanger where it's like, oh, this dude's finally gay. Like, he's straight up gay. And he's been gay since season 1, but he never accepted it. So he finally accepted it like season 15 or some shit, And then they gave us like 4 years without a show. And then Curb Your Enthusiasm was another one. Like, I've been watching it for like 25 years, and it's only like 12 seasons.
That's crazy. So, but yeah, man, it definitely shows, man. It like, like, and I'll say just the same thing I said for season 1, where it's like, you don't, as far as I'm concerned, like, you don't have to know anything about League of Legends. You don't have to want to play the games. Like, this is a joint that, like, Arcane is something like unto itself that if you just like amazing stories and cool characters, you should just watch this joint and just give it a try. And like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it definitely it's a steampunk, like, fantasy world kind of deal. And if that's not your jam, then maybe it might not be for you. But
that's the thing. Like, it kind of mixes everything a little bit. Like, it's not just steampunk. So it's if like magic, tech, robotics, steampunk, even sword and sorcery a little bit. And so it's like everything that you like it's like all it's missing is like if Stephen King wrote a story about and it's like, boom, everything I love, because that's like what I like about Stephen King. Like, he writes about everything I like. Like shit. So, and they have like the big octopus thing in the Ruined King. So it's like, I'm in. I gotta buy the Ruined King.
Yeah. So Mo, what would you rate Arcane season 2 episode 1? 6 out of 5.
That shit, like, I saw Emily enjoy it with the little bits and pieces that she saw. So I'm like, even if I didn't like it, I know this shit's good. So
yeah.
I can't deny it. It's undeniable, undisputable. It's like the shit's good. Like, you can't. You're gonna love it, and if you don't want to watch it, then don't. But you're missing out.
I agree. Like I'm saying, look, 6.5 out of 5. Yeah. Like it is phenomenal. Like I like it's so good. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me disgusted.
I wish the game was like it kind of like, can we get like a Skyrim version? You know, like like
I mean,
like
the lore has been there. Like I know, like the
Yeah.
League of Legends folks like talk about the lore. Like I remember,
but
like,
they don't get it from the game that much. Like that's the big thing.
I think it comes like in like it's not because the game itself isn't narrative, so you don't get it from the game. It's more so like it's like Mortal Kombat. Or at least how Mortal Kombat used to be. Where like when you introduce new characters, there's a story behind them, and you kind of like put it together behind the scenes a little bit.
And for me, that's what I love about Arcane, is because it's like you're getting that now. Like because when they did it for Mortal Kombat, it wasn't like Arcane is for League of Legends, So maybe a couple of the newer ones, animated ones, were a little more like that, but
definitely,
but not, for the amount of Mortal Kombat lore stuff ancillary lore stuff that we've gotten, it's not like Arcane, No, it's different. So I would want more like that for like Oblivion or something like that, like that world, but that's kind of what Fallout is right now too, but it's still definitely not as, or it doesn't feel as big as Arcane. I don't know if it's because it's animated. I feel like they could do more, but what they're choosing to do in animated form with Arcane is just perfect. Like it's just the little bit of everything, or everything I've seen that I like. So
I think they just do a good job of making the characters feel really deep. And I think
that play the game. I don't give a fuck.
And I think that like not only do they do a good job of making their characters feel deep, but it makes the world feel deep too. Whereas like it feels like a lot's happening in there, and like you're only scratching the surface by what you see. And so
that's how I felt about like Warcraft 2, because like before World of Warcraft, I played like Warcraft 1 and Warcraft 2. So, and then you get World of Warcraft, and then you get the movie, but the movie doesn't. What Arcane? And that's I'm like, I think these guys need to teach a class.
Hey, maybe, man, maybe. Okay, so we got Arcane wrapped up. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here? Like anything that we want to just touch on? Any quick hits? You got anything real quick, Heck, that you want to mention?
Next week, Absolute.
Yeah, that's Absolute. There it is.
FF all in. We're gonna F it up.
We're gonna F it up. Okay, well, shoot.
Absolute FF all in. Be there.
Just DC with all these random ass taglines.
Be there or be penetrated.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Wait.
It's like if it's 2 F's, you're penetrated.
I listen.
You only have like 2 holes.
That's when you're like,
no. All right, Heck. Even though I guess you kind of did, but give me some other final thoughts, Heck. Go for it.
There's something I was gonna say, and I cannot fucking remember what I was gonna say. What was it? It wasn't about comics. Maybe it was. I don't know. Read some fucking comics.
Yeah, there it is.
Read some comics.
All right, Most Magnum, give me some final thoughts, buddy.
Oz left, but he has a new Loot Crate box, so that video will be up tomorrow. I'm still working on our Fantastic Forum abroad, effing it up across the globe. So that's we're working on that. So, but you're only gonna see those if you like, subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll get the alerts, and you'll know when they're up.
There it is. Sounds good. Folks, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. We'll be back next week. So until then, we're the Fantastic Forum. Good night.
Good show.